Hey everyone, Connie Royal here, and I've got some news for you before you check out this video. So on June 8th, I will be hosting the 12-hour long summer mega stream. What this will be is 12 hours straight of gaming. It will be all kinds of different games. We will be playing stuff like Cards Against Humanity, Hearthstone, um, uh, just anything you can think of that I have. Plants vs. Zombies, Skullgirls, Card Hunter, Brawlhalla, all this kind of stuff we will be playing. It'll once again be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday, June 8th. And what I am really wanting to bring up here is donations. So, if you want to say in a future reaction that I will put on this channel, you can donate to the channel. To do so, all you need to do is to donate either to my PayPal directly or by friending me on Steam and donating a game from my wish list. Once you donate, all of that will go towards the mega stream and future live streams in general. Any games you donate will be done for stream unless for some reason they can't be. And all money you donate on PayPal will go towards getting games for the streams or other stuff for the streams and stuff. It'll all be used for the channel, let's put it that way. And to donate, you can donate any amount you want, any amount you can possibly do, and it needs to be done before Friday, June 8th. Once you donate, you can also tell me directly like what you want me to react to. It can be a movie, a series, a fan work, and I will get to it in the future. It just not necessarily positive on exactly when. But that's all I wanted to tell you guys about, so please enjoy the video. Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to My Hero Academia Season 3, Episode 7, I believe? Let me just check to be sure. Yes, 7. Yeah, last episode, apparently Bakugo and Tokiyami got caught by this magician dude from the Vanguard Squad, I think it was called, of the League of Villains. We also finally saw Himiko Toga take on Ochako and Sue. There wasn't much of a battle there, but I think they're saving Himiko for later. I think they're going to do more with her in the future. At least I hope so. We saw a bit of Dabi. We saw Aizawa get in danger again, but working it out. And yeah, we also have a Nomu. So that's interesting. But their main goal is definitely to capture Bakugo, because apparently they want to show him that with the way he thinks and acts, there's another path for him other than being a hero. They want to basically give him the option. From what they said, they're not going to like force him into it, but the idea of them kidnapping him in order to do this kind of seems like they're trying to sway his opinion one way over the other, which is not the best way to go about things at all. But then again, they're villains. Like, they don't give a shit. So I don't know what's going to happen in this episode. Presumably the fallout of the end of the last one. So at the end of the last episode, we saw Izuku and Todoroki launched into the air thanks to Ochako and Sue combining their quirks. Shoji helped direct them, and they basically just straight up head-on tackled the magician dude, who didn't apparently expect it. And they landed apparently right in front of where Dabi and Himiko and the others are. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. I don't know exactly what's going to happen here, but I'm interested to find out, so we're going to do so. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so this episode finished off the battle with the Vanguard Action Squad of the League of Villains and kind of showed us the aftermath. They escaped with Bakugo, but Tokiyami was saved. He was saved thanks to Aoyama. I said it there near the end of the reaction, and I believe I said it when it first happened too, but Aoyama actually did something really awesome there. And I think I mentioned this last episode with Aoyama cowering in fear behind the bush when Dabi was nearby. But Aoyama, for most of this series, has been a comic relief character. He's been this kind of character who's just been there, who's been kind of this comical character because of his quirk being a little silly and because of having that drawback to it where he gets nauseous if he uses it for too long at a time. Plus his personality and just the way he acts and everything. He's been portrayed as a comical character. And in terms of the grand scheme of the class, he's actually been one of the least impressive and least important members of Class 1A. He never did a lot. He never really stood out other than for his comical aspects. He always kind of came across as the one that they didn't give a lot to, that they didn't do a lot with. Because you have these others like Tokiyami and Sue even. Now not even counting, of course, the main ones like Ida and Ochiko, but or of course Todoroki. But you had even Mina had more to her than Aoyama. Aoyama really had nothing to him before that, but then it changed. Showing him hiding and cowering in the bushes while protecting Jiro and Hagakure, it was big for his character. It showed him in a different light. And yes, that light was just insanely afraid, as well as the fact that he just couldn't will himself to do anything. But in the end, I mean, it was understandable. His fear was understandable. And afterwards, when the villains are about to take Bakugo and Tokiyami away, he acts. He actually gathers up the courage. And I believe I've mentioned this before, but courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing what is right despite fear. All Might kind of mentioned this in Season 1, how even behind that smile, he hides fear. He's afraid, but he acts because it's right. All Might basically described what courage is right there, what being a hero is, and Aoyama displayed that beautifully in this episode. By shooting his laser out, he hit the magician dude. I cannot remember his name, but he hit him basically right in the face, right against the mask, and it damaged him enough to knock the orbs, the marbles, out of his mouth. They managed to capture Tokiyami's orb, but Dabi got to Bakugo's before the heroes could. And he had the magician, Mr. Compress, that's his name. I just thought of it. He had Mr. Compress release the compression on them. And so they turned back to normal, but he still took Bakugo away. And as I mentioned before as well, the fear in Bakugo's voice when he was being taken through the portal by Dabi, the voice actor for him, that was one of the best voice acting jobs in this show so far. And by far, this show has amazing voice acting in both the sub and the dub. But that was just that amazing. You could feel the fear in his voice. It was palpable. It was insanely intense. And him saying, no, stay back, Deku. He was trying to protect Izuku there. I am completely convinced of that. And it kind of goes into what I had said as well, that Bakugo does want to be a hero. He goes about things in a horrible way. He has a lot of anger issues and just kind of a lot of issues in general, but he does want to be a hero. And him showing that fear there and like outright telling Deku, no, stay back. It shows his heroic spirit is coming forth. And I think that this entire situation is going to change him. And he's already been changing. He's already been growing greatly. But I think this is going to be like the big turning point for him. The real big turning point. Because we've had a couple points in the past, in the first couple seasons, that were kind of big moments for him. Like when he lost the team battle in early season 1 to Izuku and Ochako, it affected him. He started to acknowledge other people's abilities, and it started to change the way he looked at others. And then we saw in season 2 his winning the tournament, despite doing so basically because Todoroki gave up at the end there. It gave him this. It made him. It made him come across in a different way. It kind of gave him this outlook like, oh, I didn't earn this. It doesn't mean anything because I didn't earn it. And it's kind of this perspective that he hadn't had before. It's something that had been growing with him for the past season. And now season 3. We've already seen in this season, in the past few episodes, that he had been changing. His willingness to follow the others, even despite his grumbling about it, his willingness to follow them without putting up a fight was a huge development for him. And now, seeing him on the precipice of being kidnapped by these villains, warning Izuku to stay away in such a pained, terrified voice, that was just unspeakably amazing, the way that was handled. I as always, I don't know how it was done in the manga, but I can't imagine that being better in the manga. I can't imagine how manga viewers could ever think that was better, because even if it was well done in the manga, well written and well displayed throughout the facial expressions and everything, you don't have that voice acting. The voice acting is what sold that scene, not the expression on his face, not the intensity of the situation. It was his voice. And there's an anime reviewer named Chibi Reviews I've talked about before. He put up a video, I think a couple weeks back now, basically talking about how the anime has actually surpassed the manga in his eyes. How the anime, because of certain things that the manga can't have, like voice acting and animation and whatnot, it actually surpasses it. It's actually better because of those different aspects that the manga just cannot do. And that's how I've always viewed anime. That's why I've always liked anime and not really been a fan of manga. Because with anime, it has that animation. It has like that emotion shown through through voicing, through expressions, through movement, which is, in my opinion, effective. While showing it in a visual medium that's not moving isn't. And I've never really found manga to be that affecting like that. There's been only a couple examples in all of the manga I've ever read throughout my life, and even just American and Western comics as well. Only rarely has it ever hit me like that in manga. Not even close. In manga or comics. I can name on one hand the amount of times it has ever reached that level of emotional pull. Or, again, anywhere close. The first Legend of Korra Turf Wars comic is a big example of that, but that's more because of my already undying love for Legend of Korra. and just how much I care about the characters and the situations and all. And while reading that, I was able to put the voices and personalities and see them moving kind of in my head. And with most manga, even if I've seen anime adaptations of them, most manga I can't do that for. It just does not happen. And that's my biggest issue. Because when you have a book or something, when you have a book, you're giving everything to determining what these characters look like, what they sound like, what their movements are like. When you have a manga, it's giving you half the information while keeping you, at least in my perspective, keeping you from being able to fill in the rest. Because in order to fill in the rest of the information, you have to be able to form the other information on your own. Again, from my perspective, from my experience. When I'm reading the Harry Potter books, when I read them before I saw the movies and everything, of course. When I read the Harry Potter books, I gave the characters their appearances. I gave them their voices, their personality traits, just movements that they would make. And I saw it all in my head. I could hear them speaking in my head whenever I read the stories. And not even equivalent to like their movie counterparts. They had their own identities in my head that were formed. If it were a manga or just a comic or whatever, then I would have already had half that work done for me. And because of that, it wouldn't be my interpretations of the characters. I wouldn't be able to form my thoughts on, oh, what does this character sound like? Because I'd feel like, oh, no, because the creator already has that in mind, and it would affect my ability to be able to come up with that. What is this character's movements like? I wouldn't be able to come up with that because it's like, oh, the mangaka, the comic artist, they had that in mind already. So it's like I didn't get to come up with any of this previous information, so I can't come up with the other information because it's not my interpretation of the characters. Again, just how I view it. But the point I'm trying to make with all of this kind of rambling off is that Chibi Reviews noted that he believes that My Hero Academia's anime has surpassed the manga. And I believe that there are certain aspects of an anime that cannot be properly shown in a manga form. Whether the manga came first or after. Most of the time first, of course. It's rare that an anime actually comes before the manga. But it's like there's certain things that just don't work in manga form. And this was one of them. Bakugo telling Izuku to stay away, to not follow him, to just stop, basically. That would not have worked, in my opinion, in manga. Because you don't have that voice. The voice, again, is what sold that moment. It is what made it powerful. Without that, it wouldn't have been that great. If he had said it in the normal Bakugo tone and voice, it would not have worked. It wouldn't have, just straight up. It was because of the tone and the fear in his voice when he said that it worked. That scene would not have worked without that. I mean, not that it would have been bad without it, but it doesn't really... It's not as impactful. It's not as hard-hitting. It's not as intense or emotional. It's not what it needed to be. Unless it has that movement and the voice acting to it. The animation and voice acting is what sets anime apart from its manga counterpart. And if you like manga better, if you think the manga for any of these shows, for My Hero or anything else is better, fine. That is completely okay. It's all opinion. And this is just simply mine. But yeah, so the episode was really, really good. It was a good way to end off of this summer training camp arc, whatever you would call it. And it gives a good segue into the next arc, which is most likely going to be them infiltrating the League of Villains. I don't know where or how that's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting. Because we have two heroes who apparently have been kidnapped. Bakugo for sure, but also apparently one of the Pussycats was kidnapped, Ragdoll. So I'm really, really interested to see what the deal with that is. And now, also to note, what's his name? All For One, the main antagonist of this series, and the kind of counterpart to All Might, All For One is shown in the intro. In multiple points. He's shown guiding Shigaraki, but he's also shown facing off against All Might. Now, the intro doesn't always mean anything, but could that mean we'll actually get a fight between him and All Might this season? Maybe in the next arc. If they're going to infiltrate the League of Villains, we might actually see him in action. We might not. I don't know. But I would like to, of course. I would love to see that. As for everything else that's going to happen here, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if this is even going to go well. I don't know if they're going to be able to rescue Bakugo yet. I don't know if they're going to be able to rescue Ragdoll. I don't know what's going to happen. I do not know at all how this is going to turn out. But what I do know is that I can't wait to find out. Because this series is my second favorite anime of all time. Only after Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And I've said it before, but it could easily surpass Brotherhood if it keeps going the way it's going. Honestly, I think by the end of Season 3, I'll know for sure. By the end of this season, I will know for sure if this is going to be better or not than FMA Brotherhood. It really depends on where this next arc and just where this season goes in general. Because the rest of this season could end up just locking it in place to as number 2 for me. Or it could just go well beyond all of my expectations and become my favorite. I almost don't want it to, because I love Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood so much that I almost don't want it to be dethroned. But at the same time, I always want to discover an anime that can dethrone my previous favorite, because it just means it's that good. And My Hero Academia has that potential. So I kind of both want it to and don't want it to. It wouldn't discount, even if it did, it wouldn't discount my thoughts on Brotherhood at all. It would still be amazing. But yeah, it's just, we have to see where the rest of the season goes. Because if this gives us just everything we need it to give to us. If this is as amazing as it's already been this season, yeah, it's like there's not going to be any question that it will take my number 1 spot. Either way, though, I've rambled on long enough for this outro segment. Tell me in the comments below what you thought of My Hero Academia Season 3, Episode 7. What did you think of the finale of this arc? And what do you think is going to happen going forward? Once again, if you know what is going to happen, please do not spoil anything in the comments. I wish to remain spoiler-free, and I wish for any viewers who do not know what's going to happen to also remain spoiler-free, if that is their desire. I just don't want any spoilers in the comments, alright? So thank you so much for tuning in, and for now, I'm Connie Royal, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles, shed tears along the way.